Well, happy Saturday morning to you. Chris Hare here, the Crypto Cowboy. Thanks for coming and having a cup of coffee with me this morning. I am a world champion rodeo cowboy, and I'm taking those strategies that I use in the arena and out in the field right in here to the crypto desk, and I'm going to teach you guys to become world champion crypto traders. So I've been doing this a while. I'm just a blue collar guy trying to figure out what's going on, and I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to follow along, search for a little freedom, and who knows, maybe we all learn a little something. But I'm going to go ahead and get into the information. Enough of me already, enough of what's going on. Let's go on over to the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. At the time of recording, we're about 25. I think it was up a couple of points yesterday. But what I'll tell you is that the best time to buy crypto is when we're in fear. You can see we drop down, we launch out. We drop down, we launch out. And so I think small buys are fine right now. We're in fear. If you have conviction on what you're buying, then it's a great time to buy. We dropped down into extreme fear back early in the spring, and that was an amazing time to buy because we just absolutely rocketed off. But I'm going to pull up an altcoin season index also because altcoins are really kind of bleeding out right now, and Bitcoin's really taking control. And when Bitcoin gets up here into a Bitcoin season, when Bitcoin pulls back, all the alts pull back even harder. What we need to see is this altcoin index roll on up into here to get to an altcoin season. And then, like I said, we were around 77 last month when everything was running so hard. And it was a great time. It was a great time to take profits, honestly. And if you didn't, I'm sorry, but I don't think all hope is over. All right, so that's enough of that. Let's go on into the charts here. There's not a liquidation heat map for KASPA. If somebody knows where they are, leave that in my comments. I'd be more than happy to pull it up for the next video. But I'm going to start off on the daily. There's not a lot of weekly information, so we're going to get a more accurate look from here. But what's going on is we've got this ginormous wick from the pullback on Friday. It was just ugly. Basically, what they did is they took everybody's long that was in this from way back in the very beginning, and they wiped it out. I still don't have all of it on the chart here. You can see it's absolutely ugly. We went all the way down to 0.94 cents. I mean, we basically went to zero. If somebody would have had a freak limit in order to sat down in there, you'd be doing amazing right now. But yeah, I hate it. It was ugly. I do own some KASPA, and so I've been watching this really close, and I thought it was a great time to post a video on it. So where do we go from here? Well, I've got to leave that wick out because we can't just see it all. Typically, though, market makers like to fill out about 70% of the wick. That would put us way back down at about a penny. I don't know that we reached there. My concern is some of these alts took such a hard hit. I'm wondering if they come back into the bull market. But if you watch my video on Bitcoin that I posted yesterday, it makes a lot of sense. And I think these things are just trying to put in higher lows. And if we do that, when you go back to Elliott wave theory or you measure these Fibonacci's, let me tell you guys, KASPA's in for a huge run. And I really hope that's what happens. I hope we see some really ginormous upside. If we stop down here in this daily golden zone, then I think that's really what's going to happen because that gives us a fib. You know, your swing high would be here and your swing low would be all the way down here. So if you just drew a fib on it, just for fun, if we went from this swing high and we drew this fib out, what you would do is you would take this fib, you would bring it up here to your daily extension zone. And then you're looking at, 15 to 19 cents on up to about 28, 35 cents. That gives you an idea of kind of what might be left in the tank. That's pure speculation. Don't hold me to it. But that's what I see. Now then, going back to the chart, what we've done is we're testing this 382 right now, or around 55 cents. We lost the daily 50 in that big dip. This is a 50 moving average. It takes 50 of these candles and puts us in a line on the chart. And this works as very, very strong support and resistance. So what do I think's happening here right now? Well, I think we need to go up and we need to retest about 5 cents to consider a bigger move to the upside. If we can reclaim that, your 4-hour golden zone here of about 66 cents looks like a great target. Also, your daily golden zone sits at around 7.5 cents. But what I think is going to happen, even if we do retest this, we're going to come on down. We're going to get down into this daily extension zone somewhere around 0.32 cents, something like that. We'll go into a 4-hour chart. It's going to break it down for you just a little bit more, and we'll get a really better understanding of what's going on. So like I said, we were talking about the 382 on the daily chart, but now we're on the hourly. We have reclaimed it, and we've settled above it. What I'd like to see is maybe us consolidate all weekend, and then I would think about a bigger run up. But if we reject here, like I said, your 4-hour extensions are going to be your next target. It's about 3.034 cents down to 0.23 cents. So that looks at it. If we can reclaim this and we move on up, the 4-hour golden zone lines up with the 50 moving average. That's going to be your next big point of resistance. You're going to have to reclaim that, and then you can think about your extensions on up at about 0.88 cents. So that gives you a pretty good idea on KASPA. I'm not completely convinced this move is over. I think we may have an opportunity for a little more upside. I don't know how much that is, but when we get down to the bottom, I can update you with another video, kind of give you an idea of what's going on. But I'm very particular about this. There's a very strict set of rules that I use to trade with, and I want to make sure, and I want to teach you guys kind of what I look for and how I get through these charts to get these more accurate price predictions. Pretty confident in what I've got here. Like I said, there's some opportunity for some upside here, but I think there's more downside coming, especially if you watch my video from yesterday on Bitcoin. Even over the past week, I've really tried to cover that in depth and paint a worst case scenario with a little bit of hope involved in it, because I just don't want you guys to lose all hope. I don't think it's there yet, and it's going to take it's going to take a lower high on Bitcoin for me to think about that before I'm really ready to pull all my profits out. But that gives you an idea of what's going on. Keep your stop losses tight. If you're looking to buy, it may be a good opportunity here to make a small buy. And then I'd wait. And if we go lower, you just buy a little more, and you just keep laddering in the lower we go. If you have conviction, you're bringing your average down. So eventually it's going to go up, and you're going to come back into profit. And then I think you've got a good opportunity at making a little money on this coin. But I'm going to wrap this up. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed the video, like it, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification, and leave us a comment. Tell me about that. If you know where I can find a liquidation heat map for KASPA, I'd be more than happy to put it in the next video. And I really appreciate it. Don't forget to check out my links. There's a link to X. There's a link to the crypto school. There's also a link to BitUnix to get you some sweet deals on your trading. But I've said enough already. I'm going to wrap this thing up. I've got a lot of work to do out here on the ranch today, so I'm going to get that done, and I'll update throughout the day. I'll do some shorts on it throughout the weekend, and we'll figure out what's going on together. But come on back. Check me out again. We'll do this every night on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I'll mix some altcoins in as well. But I've said enough already. I'm going to shut it down. Chris Hare, the Crypto Cowboy. We'll see you down the road.